All right, ladies and gentlemen, General Greene here. God bless you. It is very early this morning on a Tuesday, January 13th, 2026. We've got major updates. Please like and share. You'll see the sunrise come from this direction and it'll illuminate and light this video. Also, we're going to play some footage from months ago where I predicted the dramatic reset currently taking place now, that the U.S. government was repricing its Fort Knox gold and silver reserves. Central banks were going to pump their existing bags at the central banks. Once they had created that new wealth from nothing, they would then net neutral purchase into the stablecoin reset and, of course, buy, acquire, confiscate, of which we've recently seen with Venezuela, Bitcoin. And that is how they would accumulate the sovereign reserves of the blockchain technology that's needed, of which Paul Atkins at the SEC and also Scott Bessent have warned is imminent and coming. First, please like and share. God bless all of you tuning in. Faith first and God first. It is important that we all resist and do not comply to the deep state's massive surveillance state that they're rolling out now. Again, 2020 was a setup. It's led us to here. I've been predicting hyperinflation and economic, financial, dollar, fiat collapse now for multiple decades. I predicted, invested, taught entire courses on Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies for nearly 2 decades, and we've been right about all of it. A geopolitical switch, a move into a new system of government and power, a psychological behavioral management system that would brainwash populations around the world into submission, and all of that is happening now, in addition to the geopolitical conflicts we currently still see remaining in Ukraine, threats of an attack on Iran, which appear to be imminent. Lindsey Graham, very excited about this, foaming from the mouth. What we saw with the capture of Maduro, which is kidnapping, and the BBC said don't use that term because it's inappropriate and not PC, even though that's exactly what it was. I mean, what would we call the erasure of Muammar Gaddafi? What's the PC word for that? Well, we can't call it what it actually is. So this is breaking news today. It also appears that the Dow Jones Industrial Average will hit 50K imminently. I believe this will unlock the hyperinflationary golden age as the central bank is under attack by Donald Trump and the global cabal is defending Jerome Powell's ouster and the Fed's independence, of which Donald Trump has launched a very big probe into Powell for his failure to cut interest rates.
Good evening. On Friday, the Department of Justice served the Federal Reserve with grand jury subpoenas, threatening a criminal indictment related to my testimony before the Senate Banking Committee last June.
So we can see what's happening now. We can see how this is obviously playing out with gold and silver, for example, breaking new all-time highs. Silver up to $88. Tells us that we're at the end of an empire stage. Tells us what I've been saying this whole time. What Ray Dalio and others have been saying is that we're entering a new system and a new order. It tells us that the faith and trust and hope in fiat currencies is zero. It tells us that Wall Street is selling U.S. Treasury debt. And now the U.S. dollar, for those of you who don't know, is the least used worldwide than it ever has been before, proving the point that the U.S. hegemonic system is no longer, and we're moving to a different one. I've said for years now, decades now, that the U.S. dollar, the new upgradable digital format of it, would be tethered to a U.S. stablecoin. The reason is the U.S. government will have a lot more power and control over a U.S. tethered stablecoin than they would directly on a Bitcoin standard. This does not mean that the U.S. government does not own Bitcoin and other cryptos like Ethereum, XRP, and Solana as a part of its sovereign reserve assets, but it won't be 100% entirely Bitcoin standardization. Bitcoin, of course, is going to millions of dollars, as I predicted, even when it was trading under 1,000 USD equivalent. But that's beside the point. Again, you have to understand that the system reset into AI, robots, artificial intelligence, what Elon Musk is now warning could be alien life on the horizon. Either microorganisms that are alive outside or in or outside of our alleged solar system, or actual real beings that have been disclosed recently by the Pentagon and these aircrafts and UAPs floating around our skies that they once said was a conspiracy, just like they told us they weren't spraying the skies, but now they are.
We want to make Star Trek real. Okay? We want to make Starfleet Academy real, so that it's not always science fiction, but one day the science fiction turns to science fact. And we have spaceships going through space, big spaceships, with people going to other planets, going to the moon, and ultimately going beyond our star system to other star systems, where we may meet aliens or discover long-dead alien civilizations. I don't know, but we want to go and we want to see what's happening, and we want to have epic futuristic spaceships with lots of people in them traveling to places we've never been to before.
So the big picture here is we're living through a hyperinflationary collapse. We are living through a reset and a transitory phase, what is being dubbed the golden age, and the creation of a new system and a new world of a Western versus Eastern Hemisphere order, of which Donald Trump is attempting to coalesce other countries like Greenland for mineral rights, for national security, in the Arctic for massive data mining centers and what they're calling freedom CITIESs. Got to be smarter than the algorithm there. And against versus China, of which is taking over the Eastern New Silk Road. So at the end of the day, the strategy is clear that independence and sovereignty is more important than ever. That peaceful non-compliance is essential to your survival. That exiting the banks before bank runs and capital controls is the key to your success. Getting out of fiat, especially US dollars, buying real assets, creating cash flows, and organizing decentralized sovereign communities like a tree or a bird spreading its wings. Interconnected, decentralized, non-dependent on the banks, no bank debt. This is exactly what islandproject.com does and builds freedom for God first, faith first, freedom-oriented individuals during the reset, of which we pivot, leverage, and profit handsomely. So like and share, and I'm going to play clips specifically detailing over the last year. I've predicted now successfully for over 2 decades what's coming next. And now we've successfully, accurately, all glory to God, predicted the stablecoin reset and what's happening in the blockchain crypto market and specifically on Wall Street today. Again, keep your eye on Dow 50K because that will unlock the Donald Trump golden age into the new system and the USD reset into the US dollar stablecoin, otherwise known as a CBDC. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is the General Greene, and this is a bombshell report. Please like and share. They don't want this information out to the American public. This is absolutely huge, critical, and will monumentally reshape the entire United States of America, but more importantly, the global financial system at large. This is the biggest event since the Bretton Woods Agreement. And I've been breaking all this down, hard-hitting and in your face from the lime green Lamborghini. I call it the praying mantis because we be praying every single day. Jesus Christ is king. But this is huge. This is absolutely huge. And I'm about to break it all down. But please, please, please get it out. I do need your help. They're censoring the algorithms. They don't want this leaked. Donald Trump has secretly replaced the U.S. Federal Reserve, the central bank. This has actually already happened, and it's going to come out very, very soon. Did you hear what I just said? Donald Trump has already secretly replaced the U.S. Federal Reserve and the central bank, and this is going to come out in the next probably few weeks to months. This has massive, profound implications for the global financial system, the U.S. stock market, gold reserves, all precious metals, the computer, semiconductor industry, and also crypto. It is the biggest thing to happen, honestly, in probably a century. So let's explain what's really going on here. Donald Trump is essentially replaced Fed policy. Notice how Donald Trump has wanted influence over interest rates, both fiscal and monetary policy at the Federal Reserve, which, by the way, is a private institution and bank funded by wealthy investors around the world. It's not public. We don't get a vote. They put in a chairman or a chairwoman or whoever it is, and we don't really have a say on any of this. So what Donald Trump has done is circumvented the Federal Reserve, and he's in the process of not just potentially nationalizing it, which may or may not happen, and we've heard some things on that. But what I'm saying is completely different. He's literally replacing the Federal Reserve with an entirely new system, and it's cloaked. First off, it's not like the deep state went away. It's not like the controllers and the international bankster cartel is somehow no longer going to be with us. So, I wish that was the case, but get that out of your mind for a minute. What I'm telling you is we are moving a completely new direction, and not only with the investigation of the Fort Knox gold reserves, which I was the first to break and the only one in the world to tell you this. Why did Donald Trump do that? Why is Doge and Elon Musk focused? I got to pull over because this is very important. Why are they focused on remonetizing the gold at Fort Knox? The reason they're doing that is they're repricing its current book value of $42.22 an ounce, which has been like that pretty much forever. And they're going to reprice it to a market value of near $3,000 an ounce, which is a new all-time record for gold. Why? This will create a speculative frenzy that you've never seen, not just in gold and precious metals, but it's going to take the Fort Knox reserves currently at about $11 billion book value and send it sky high to near $1 trillion. Couple that with the repricing of the international gold and financial markets, we could easily see the Fort Knox and other reserves that the United States owns in New York City, Manhattan, and other places they don't tell you about in the trillions and trillions of dollars. What does this do? It reprices and reconfigures the United States balance sheet. This is very important for a singular event horizon reason when it comes to the monetary system and financial markets. The super elites are about to roll out a new digital dollar reset currency in America. Bank of America, for example, just came out publicly yesterday and said they're going to issue a stablecoin as soon as they have regulatory approval. They said something along the lines, it's as good as cash. And that's the direction that they're going to move, along with all of the other banks. Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan Chase, Wells Fargo, the list goes on and on. BlackRock, moving into the crypto markets, buying Bitcoin, launching exchange-traded funds, and now U.S. investors can buy and have been buying at large. So what is Trump doing here? And I'm not even saying that this is a bad thing, and he's not the only player. This is much bigger than Donald Trump. This is what you must understand. It's much bigger than the White House. In a way, Donald Trump is manipulating financial markets as we speak, and essentially has taken over the role of the Fed and diminished it through these actions currently taking place. If he can't influence interest rates directly or influence, let's say, inflation, he can do it with Fort Knox remonetization. He can do it with these other tactics and also through issuance, deletion, getting rid of the old fiat currency. The petrodollar's done. So there are no US dollars backed by oil anymore. That's over. The new backing, as I've said for over a decade, and I told you about Bitcoin first, to buy it under 1,000, is blockchain technology, semiconductors, and microchips. So what this is doing is allowing Donald Trump and the West to essentially broker this new system. Now, here's what's really interesting. We'll move forward. All of the rest of the world leadership is already in on this. Okay, so MBS, for example, you know who he is out in Saudi Arabia, bin Salman, right? The others, all the principal heavy hitters in the Middle East. This includes Israel, Dubai, Singapore, London, the UK, all the major financial infrastructures are already way ahead of this. And how do we know this? By what they're doing. If you take a look at gold, for example, there is a run on gold right now, right? Just like there's a run on the banks. We've seen that in 1929. Now we're almost getting it in reverse. There's a run on gold, and I actually believe soon there's going to be a massive run on silver. If we look at gold and silver, both are going to do very, very well, but silver is nowhere near an all-time high. So we could see a doubling in silver, for example, like a 2-3x in the next few months. Probably will happen because what we're having and what we're seeing now, central banks are hoarding gold, buying tons of it. This includes Asia, China, Russia, and the BRICS, which have been buying a ton of this stuff in recent years. And that's how we know something big is about to happen. Again, they always point to and focus your attention optically. This is the art of media and propaganda and manipulation, and also just kind of in general moving the masses where you want them to go, pointing you towards what they're going to do next. Here's what's mind-freaking blowing about this, guys. Absolutely mind-blowing. This actually ties into the AI revolution and the release of these new chips, like Microsoft's first ever, allegedly, they've had it for years, they've got better technology, the quantum-based computer chip hardware, which, how do you make it? With gold. It's mostly gold and precious metals and semiconductors, and its name, which I've seen no one investigate, but I have on Twitter. Follow me on X at AMTV Media. My only official account has a check mark. There's some imposters. Make sure you find the right one. I have like 70,000 followers or something. Let's take that to 100K. By the way, I'm posting a lot more actively. And so we have, and this is what I investigated with the chip, Major Rama, kind of a funny name. Major Rama 1 is the name of the chip. Major Rama 1. Well, I actually prayed on it with discernment, and I'm going to tell you what it means as much as I can, because I can't say everything. Much like the Big Bang was a genus of like the first gene, this is a theory, I don't believe in the Big Bang, but what the scientists do, and then burst to create human life, kind of like one of our big mysteries of the universe. The deep state and elites have literally summoned, this is what Elon Musk said, quote, summoning the demon. This is what he says about AI, end quote. That AI will summon the demon, just like they're, shattering atoms back and forth with CERN underground, and just like they have to hold these quantum chips below freezing for them to operate, like kind of makes you think of hell because it's like underground. And by the way, they're doing this with Stargate too. They're doing this in Texas. They've already built a similar CERN that is running all these experiments and simulations and AI technology of which Elon Musk is calling the event horizon, kind of like a black hole, like solar eclipse. His new Grok logo tilted at an exact 33-degree Freemason tilt, with a man down at the bottom reaching for the heavens to defy God in transhuman form. They're releasing all these new musculoskeletal robots and freaks, these literal robots of DEATH hanging from strings that look like humans, and they're putting freaking microchips in their foreheads and their cerebral cortex hard wiring to human brains with Neuralink and Synchron. All these individuals are doing this. Why are they marrying all this technology? First off, Major Rama, if I'm saying it correctly, one, notice one, right? That signals the first genus, or the one, refers to the Lord. Amazon one, swipe your palm for payments to unlock the world at Whole Foods, is also an inversion. It has a spiritual connotation, and let's talk about that. Notice how Satan is an inversion of truth, light is an inversion of darkness, life is an inversion of DEATH. Isn't it interesting that these microchips that are summoning the demon coming from below the earth, which is also an inversion, have to be inverted at below freezing temperatures in order for them to work? Again, an inversion of the opposites of the yin and the yang. And so what Microsoft and other technologists have released, they don't even actually fully understand. This is what is actually mind-blowing about it. Like, they could literally blow up the entire world with this technology. The NVIDIA CEO came out today and said that the new general and specialized artificial intelligence processes are going to need 100 times the current computing chip power to operate from current levels of ChatGPT, DeepSeek, the competitor overseas in Asia, and of course Elon Musk's Grok, which are like the top three. My point is, all of this works together. This is a merger of everything. I always said this years ago. It sounds complicated and complex, but it's not. All roads marry and lead to the same yellow brick road. We're all going the same direction, guys. We're going the same darn place, okay? The financial markets, literally, all of them, stocks, crypto, are tethered to all of these other things. AI, semiconductors, the microchip trade, Ukraine. Notice that's all about mineral rights. Why were we there? Were we defending Ukrainian freedom and democracy? Were we protecting its people? Are we giving the land back that Putin allegedly annexed and stole? No, but we're taking minerals. Why? We need it. We need all the minerals. It goes into microchips. It goes into the power technology, the electricity. It's going into the nuke plants that are needed to operate so Bitcoin can mine, so these AI chips can work, so Stargate can function, which I did a video yesterday. By the way, we're going to get some kind of grid down electrical shock very, very soon. Chile was a test run. The whole country went down. That's a first world country, major industrialized state. And I believe the elites were just running tests because they're about to hit Europe, and God forbid the United States pray against it, but I know I'm right. Tactical as well in Europe, I'm expecting very, very soon. So all of this leads the same direction. Again, the currencies and the new one in the States is backed by these same microprocessors, blockchain technologies, and innovations that we're all too familiar with. Also, I want to quickly comment on the Epstein client list file release today. I'm expecting it to be a nothing burger. I hope I'm wrong, but I just highly doubt it. I mean, Donald Trump said he was going to jail Hillary. She's not in jail. She's scot-free. That other guy, I can't say his name on the algorithms, got a pardon. So nothing's going to happen to him. JP Morgan Chase, for example, funded the entire Epstein trafficking ring as a part of his major financial institution. Is there anything going to happen to him? I seriously doubt it. So I think it's just a bread and circus and theater to placate the American zombied masses into thinking they're getting something when you're not getting anything. Again, always look at the other hand when they're releasing some fake crap over here. And so what I'm telling you today is far actually more important. It's a sleight of hand, you know, like a magician. And this is what these people do. They're very, very evil. Trump has secretly replaced the central bank and the U.S. Federal Reserve System. And really, to a large extent, all of this is changing overseas with their central banks as well. And they're pushing all y'all into the new one, succinctly, choreographed. And let me give you a specific tactic that Trump is implementing now. Trump's tariffs, we could argue, is market manipulation. He's even said this himself. There's going to be short-term pain and suffering as a result of the tariffs to Canada, to Mexico, and also China, which he's been putting in place. And they're going in sequence in the next coming months, March, and then after that. He's even told you it's going to crash markets, which it has. We're getting a dump in crypto, a dump in Bitcoin, a dump in stocks. NVIDIA hasn't recovered. short-term and temporary, in my opinion. Again, Trump is manipulating, maybe it's even a good thing, manipulating the system right now, replacing the tactics or strategy at the Fed he doesn't have a lot of control over, and is essentially circumventing them and influencing financial capital flows and markets like I've never seen before. I mean, this is extremely, extremely significant. So what's the play and what do you do? Because most of these pundits out there never tell you what to freaking do. They're like, oh, I revealed it to you. There you go. And then like there's nothingness. It's like, stay tuned to the next episode. Shucks. Well, inflation's here to stay. Another report just came out. That's not going anywhere. I told you inflation, we're in hyperinflation. Gold, silver, housing, real assets, commodities, eggs up 40% are going to continue to skyrocket. The elites are removing real property ownership rights from you, the American people, and you tuning in overseas. They said that you will own nothing and be happy and eat freaking crickets. Why did they say that and how are they going to implement it? I always told you through hyperinflation. By mispricing and misaligning capital flows markets, controlling, manipulating bailouts, interest rates, lockdowns, and supply shocks, and all other kinds of freaking draconian shenanigans, they would make sure and remove ownership rights from you, the general public. So inflation's here to stay. I fully expect Bitcoin to trade well above 200 to 300K this year. This freaking year. So we're going to pull 2 to 3x from current levels. AI, as Elon Musk has said in the Singularity, and I've read all the books and I've studied these people for decades, has also told us we've reached the event horizon singularity. What does that mean? It means we're at the apex. We're at that singular moment where there's the merger of all these systems that I just explained to you, all of them. Economic, financial, fiat, spiritual. This is spiritual warfare. This is what you need to understand. It's big, a bit bigger than the economic implications of it. But that also tells you where it's going. Real assets. So you want gold, you want silver, you want Bitcoin, you want crypto. You want the best real estate in the world, like what we do at Island Project. You want cash flows, right? You want to be in the new innovation points, the technology, the AI, the gaming, right? We all know what they're going to do. And what they are doing now is they're marrying all this technology and all these robots. And as Ray Dalio has also discussed as well, I mean, we might just be approaching anarchy, if not physical confrontation and civil war at this point, because the rapidity of the move will be something that most of you, I'll be frank, won't be able to handle. Okay, so when Bitcoin's skyrocketing above 300,000, let's say later this year. And by the way, I think Trump's family is re-entering Trump coin. I'm not recommending it, but I actually think it probably is a good time to buy. It's peak to trough, 80% from its recent peak, and is now trading at like 13, 14 bucks from 75. So keep an eye on that, 'cause it's kind of an indicator, right? Trump ain't going anywhere. So it's also kind of an indicator of the market. Everything's moving into real world assets, islandproject.com, by the way. Everything's moving into utility, islandproject.com, by the way. Everything's moving into cash flows, physical assets backed by the blockchain, islandproject.com, by the way. Again, guys, we've known this for years. We've known this for years. We know where they're taking you all and where we are all going. So, economic, financial, spiritual conflict, war, and transition is happening now. There's going to be some kind of art of the peace deal, negotiation, apprentice style with Ukraine. We saw that. We're grabbing all the mineral rights. Some kind of tactical event, nuke, will happen soon. More blackouts, guaranteed. The bigger geopolitical piece, though, is China. China, right? That's the bigger geopolitical piece. Keep your eye on that because, again, the BRICS need control of reunification of Taiwan, all the semiconductor, precious metals production, and then counterpoint that to the United States and our interests over here and overseas. So, yeah, this video is massive. Like, I hope I did it justice. I hope it sinks in. But the Federal Reserve, the old central bank, and a new Bretton Woods agreement has already secretly been inked worldwide. Every global leader's in on it. BlackRock's in on it. This is why they're dumping crypto right now, because they're going to buy everything back cheaper, rip the Americans' faces off pump it to new record all-time highs by year end. Will be $200,000-$300,000 Bitcoin mining. Altcoins continue to skyrocket. RSR is going to pull a freaking 1,000x. In my humble opinion, Island Project, we're launching in this environment, by the way. We always launch in the little bear or a big bear. We're kind of in a little bear right now. We always launch now. We're tokenizing in 2025. So my point is, take action. My point is, pivot, leverage, profit. If you're smart enough to understand where things are going, the general direction of AI, gaming, artificial intelligence, quantum-based computing chips, robotics, blockchain technology, currency resets, stable coins like Bank of America is rolling out. And I've been studying all this as an expert for literally generations, like nearly 2 decades, along with geopolitics, then you sure gosh dang should profit from it, especially as a Christian, because I'm going to close with this. Guys, Christians are under attack in the United States of America and worldwide. You, many of you tuning in, you that love God, you that are faith first, you that don't comply, we need to stick together. You need to organize with us, build real community, and own, this is the important part, own a real asset. And don't just own any asset, own the best assets in the world. Diversified, decentralized, cash flows, capital gains, and tokenized. 2 events, right? I've always told people this. There are 2 events. You own our portfolio at islandproject.com, call my dad. You own real estate, just going to appreciate over the long haul. With all the benefits of traditional real estate ownership and no bank debt. And you can freaking use it. And you can enjoy your lifestyle investment. Live your freaking investment. Can't do that with a stock. You don't live your investment with a freaking stock or an ETF or, whatever else crap it is. But you can with us. And in addition to that, take advantage of the opportunity of this new economy that we're building. Something I forgot to mention yesterday, too. I have major announcements coming, not just additional property acquisitions. We just finalized a couple days ago our $5.5 million new penthouse on the Big Island. We're completely diversified across the great state of Hawaii and also own a beautiful Park City ski lodge, which, by the way, they're getting rid of fluoride. They're the first state to do that in the beautiful state of Utah over in Deer Valley, which I love. But I also want you to understand all the business opportunities ahead of us, right? Expect business suites as a part of Island Project. Singapore, Dubai, Tokyo, the list goes on and on. We have major acquisitions being teed up now in Thailand, places like Bali, I'll keep you posted on, as we move out towards Southeast Asia. I've taken several trips recently. That's why we fired up the Learjet. And I want you to take aggressive action now before it's too late. Most Americans, ladies and gentlemen, are going to be massacred by this event. They're going to be absolutely freaking massacred by this event. Because why? Greatest wealth transfer in world history, massive continued hyperinflation. If you're in old US petrodollars that are collapsing with inflation, debt, and bailouts, they're going to now transfer you into the new system and CBDC equivalent, and that's going to massacre your bank account and your pensions. There's going to be a banking crisis in the United States. There's going to be bank runs, capital controls, and bail-ins during war, during crisis. So decentralization is going to be more important than ever. And international exposure is going to be key to long-term success, in my opinion. You don't want all your eggs in one basket. Also address something. People always say, Christopher, why do you always show me, why do you always show me your watches? Here, take a look at this. Beautiful watch. That's a Rolex Day-Date, Oyster Perpetual. That green face, there's probably only 100 of them in the world. Myself and Michael Jordan are one of the few people to own it. That's a $100,000 watch there. There's other ones kind of like it, but has a different green face. Very special. Why do I show you these things? Why do I show you the Lamborghini, right? Why do I do that? Well, number one, I just think it's fun. They're meaningless things. They don't matter. I mean, we're not taking any of this way to the kingdom. But I show it to you for a reason. I show it to you to show you what's possible. Many of you are selling yourself short in life. You don't think you can do it. You don't think you're special. You don't think it's possible. You're listening to your friends, the group think. People beat you down. You're thinking you got to stay in the 9 to 5. I'm telling you, you don't. The reason I show you that stuff is because I want you to think harder. I want you spiritually awakened. I want you taking your power back. I want you to know that faith is key to your success. Look, 10, 20 years ago, I was broke, man. Broke. Everyone told me social media was a scam. Everyone told me Bitcoin was a scam. I went all in, bought as much as I could. Recommended it under 1,000. Now I'm the guy wearing multiple Rolexes, commanding the digital Noah's Ark, a multi-$100 million portfolio with no bank debt, soon to be billions tokenized, driving the freaking Lamborghini and wearing a Rolex that only myself and like Michael Jordan owns. I'm proving the point that there is opportunity in this disruptive force currently taking place. I don't know how much time we've got left. I mean, I think we're freaking in end times. But in the meantime, I want you guys staying optimistic and organizing, because if we don't stick together and you're not joining forces and you don't own anything in this environment, you don't own at least a piece or a fraction of real equity or a real beautiful property like an islandproject.com or gold or silver or Bitcoin or crypto, which is also fractional, by the way, and you have nothing of real ownership, you're going to be freaking destroyed, because the elites are moving you to a UBI, peasantry basic income system, which is going to transform and change America forever. And they're removing ownership rights and what I believe is true capitalism and replacing it with crony bailout capitalism for the super trillionaire elite and all these oligarchs, we know their names, who, by the way, are all in on this and are all behind the closed doors, and it's even bigger than them and bigger than the White House and bigger than Trump. And this is what people need to understand. And this is why the politics don't even really matter. You need to be thinking like the trillionaire class, and that's how I think. I think from their lens. I watch what they're doing. I model, I see, I study, I read, and number one, I critically download from Jesus Christ King. He's been giving me amazing downloads recently, just like this video here. So I won't go any longer. But I just revealed to you the biggest secret no one else has told you about. So what do? You make your move now, baby. You go freaking 1000x, dude. I don't know what you're waiting for. You go freaking all in now while you freaking can. Because you the man. And you the woman. And you got freaking diamond nuts, ladies and gentlemen. And I am General Greene. I love you all. But in all seriousness, take action. And know you were meant for this moment. And God, Jesus Christ, loves you so much. He loves you so much. He puts you on this earth today so you could do big things in perilous times, during end times. He put you here to represent him. I want you to think about that. So go get married, have a bunch of kids, and multiply and spread the light. And join our Christian billionaire kingdom wealth producing network at islandproject.com. We're #1 in the world for a reason. We've already built it. This founders round, about closed, ladies and gentlemen. You better get your butts in right now at 808-442-2934. Roll over those IRAs. Roll over those pensions now. Now's the time to do it. 808-442-2934. No bank debt. So when the stock market keeps crashing, crypto keeps going down, you'll be sitting like a cucumber, ready for our token launch, enjoying your lifestyle investment at our amazing exclusive resort properties with no bank debt, earning freaking cash flows and capital gains, and becoming a part of something very, very real, and really just our social network and community with myself, Papa John, and our amazing members worldwide from, over 12 countries. It's more than that. Links below and up here. And do me a favor and like and share. I really appreciate it from the bottom of my heart, and I sincerely love all you tuning in. I've been doing this, guys, nearly 20 years. I do it because I love to do it, and guess what? God put me here to serve, and that's what I'm doing. You should too. Links below.